You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. It's a mailbag. You know the drill, right? All your questions answered here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. And it's a super chat to begin from Will Marshall. Signing OBJ keeps Lamb in motion. Matches either 88-13 or 3 OBJ against the backup corner. Defenses would respect OBJ before James Washington. I'm inclined to agree. I don't think it's an accident that, at least early on in that game, when Beckham was balling out before the fourth quarter came over and they just ran the football as they should, things got away and they used a lot of motion for Beckham. For Lamb. He and Beckham can both get slot reps. It allows some creativity on your offense. I agree, Will, as I do with, I think, like every super chat that you send in. I think teams would be much more wary of a healthy OBJ versus James Washington. I say do it if the money and medical check out. From Damn Entertainment, for the Feagles co-host, that is Jeremy. Bring up how we lost to the Packers. Y'all almost blew that game to their backup. A little more time. Y'all would have choked. Beat the Texans. Yes, beat the Texans. And remember, NFL is a weird sport sometimes. Some upsets happen. So I would never encourage anyone to use one game as the evidence as to why the other 9, 10, whatever are suddenly invalid results. Aaron Suarez, get Richard Sherman out of retirement. Here's the issue with Richard Sherman. I don't think he's very good. Sherman, the last 2 years, injury problems, is not in game shape, and the Bucs played him at safety last year because he wasn't getting it done at corner anymore. This production, small sample size, I know, isn't very good. We get mad, understandably so, when Anthony Brown allows a 55% rate and some big plays, but Sherman did too. So I don't really see any interest, desire to try to bring someone out of retirement in December. Now, if he's in like elite shape, which I think he's in decent shape, I guess, but I honestly, it might be a bad idea. I'd rather see what Kelvin Joseph can do because Sherman wasn't good last year. If he was, he'd probably still be in the NFL. So down to the comments section, then it's the pin comment on today's show. And name a free agent who you guys want to sign. Maybe it's Sherman, maybe it's somebody else. Let me know in the comments who you want the Cowboys to go out and sign. From Jason Folks, OBJ or Amari Cooper? Would we even be looking into OBJ if we had kept Coop? No, you wouldn't be. You wouldn't be in the market for Beckham because, well, Amari Cooper is on pace for another 1,000-yard season. He's got 61 catches for 800-plus yards and 7 scores, despite the backup quarterback being out there. There have been still inconsistent, really weird, confusing home road splits, but Cooper would still give you another potential wide receiver one. Money, of course, might be different there, but if you had Cooper, you wouldn't be in the mix for OBJ. Chris Snow, if Tyron Smith comes back, do we score more or have a better run offense? I'm going to preface this by saying you're averaging like 36, 37 points since your quarterback came back, which is it's unsustainable. It's going to regress to the mean at some point because you're the 2 highest output games of the entire NFL season in 49 and 54, so you will regress there. I would hope there's a little bit more consistency with Tyron Smith back, and where it really matters is you're not going to play the Bears and Colts in the playoffs. You're going to play the Vikings or Packers or not Packers, Bucks or Niners. Instead of scoring 24, can you score 27, 28 with Tyron Smith? Can you have better pass protection? The run offense has been good. My hope is that things go well once you get Tyron Smith back, and it just makes things a little bit better across the board. Not that you're suddenly going to be Team 40 burger every night, or they're calling it Team 50 brisket now, but better offensive line play will help. Today's Cowboys Report is brought to you by Fetch. It's super easy to use, and it's a free app. Lets you earn rewards on truly anything that you buy. You scan any physical receipt or e-receipt, and you'll earn points for your purchases. And the process takes only seconds. As you can see right now, you don't have to worry about where the receipt is from or what's on it. All you do is open up the Fetch app, press the orange camera button, and snap a photo of your receipt. Hit submit, and you'll see the confetti pop showing that you've earned more reward points. You can also use the e-receipt function to get rewarded for your Amazon purchases or whatever shopping account you do that's tied to your emails. You can then redeem those points for gift cards at Amazon, Starbucks, or any of the hundreds of retailers and restaurants that are available. Fetch is a free download on iPhone or Android. Use our link, chatsports.com/fetch, and enter promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T, to get 5,000 points once you scan your first receipt. That's the equivalent of a free $5 gift card when you get started. It's a free app, and the 5,000 bonus points, though, is only for a limited time. So get started now. Don't wait any longer because you got groceries and Christmas gifts and whatnot. Get some extra reward points for spending some money this holiday season. Chatsports.com/fetch. Enter promo code CHAT, C-H-A-T. Links in the comments section and the description on today's show. $20 super chat as we're 21 away from shots here live. Howard Floyd, what's the report on Anthony Brown? Broke on Monday. Of course, we're doing this on our live show Monday, so I'll recap it for you here, my friend. Out for the year with an Achilles injury. McCarthy did not call it an Achilles tear, but that was the fear, so probably accurate here. Means the Cowboys are down 2 corners, and Kelvin Joseph is your next man out as Anthony Brown is done for the season. Jeremy chugs his burner. Should we be worried about the bad first half? Makes me worried for Christmas Eve. So, yes and no. Yes, the Cowboys have been a little bit slow starter-ish. You still scored 21 points in the first half against Indy, but you were still inconsistent. Your defense had its worst first quarter of the entire season. I do think a second-half team is a good thing because it means you're going to be in the mix down the stretch. You're not going to be worried about collapsing that much outside of the Packers game. In the end, as long as you continue to get where you've ended, I'm not worried. Now, I would be lying if I didn't say I would feel better if they just played the entire game like that, right? So, yes and no, they are getting there in the end. That's what matters for me at least. But I understand the concerns. It just means the Cardiac Cowboys will continue to be the Cardiac Cowboys. Jesse Gonzalez says, tell Al Harris to go suit up. How old is Al Harris now? That, of course, is the Cowboys' DB's coach, or one of the defensive backs coach. Al Harris is now, he's 47. Maybe he can do it. If Brady can do it, why can't Al Harris, right? From Get in My Belly. Is the run defense fixed? I don't know about fixed, but it's been a lot better the last 2 games. You know, the broadcast is like, they got to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. Well, he averaged less than 4 yards per carry. So if they want to keep doing that on the ground, sure, go for it. And then Zach Moss ran the ball in garbage time. Like, whatever, that's fine. I feel better about the run defense, and there will still be some more challenging matchups. Tennessee, Philadelphia. Houston will try to run the football on you as well. So do you trust this current Cowboys run defense? Y for yes, N for no. Make those predictions for me in the comment section. Do you trust the Cowboys run defense? It's Y or N. Zeno saying, why aren't the Bills the favorites for OBJ? I thought for sure that's where he'd go. They kind of faded out a little bit. I think the Bills are the second team behind the Giants. I think the Giants are not going to end up getting him. I don't know if OBJ wants to play in the cold, to be honest. But I think the Bills are still in the mix right now. From Blake, Bland on the outside, other safeties at nickel. So I appreciate the creativity here. I would keep Bland at nickel because it's working. And what I don't want to have is, well, we tried Bland on the outside. We tried Israel Mukuamu at nickel because you're still going to use your big nickel packages and put Wilson and Kearse in the box. I don't want those guys lined up against, like, you know, when A.J. Brown gets slot reps. I don't want to play those shiftier receivers against the safety. And what I really don't want is, well, turns out Bland can't play well enough on the outside, and then, you know, now you got 2 issues because your safeties didn't play well. So Bland works at nickel. I'd keep him there and pray that Joseph or even Wright can hold things down at cornerback too. We'll be live for every Cowboys game, regular season playoffs. We got daily videos for you guys here, so make sure you're subscribed. Free videos when you hit the big red button. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. From Vince, what do the Cowboys have to improve or to avoid in order to make a playoff run? What they have to improve? I think the biggest issue was that the Cowboys came out a little skittish in the playoffs last year against the Niners. They were a little bit, not spooked, but they kind of just weren't confident in themselves. I think you have to do a better job of the offensive line protection. You got to avoid the turnovers on offense because you're not going to get 5 on defense every single game. That's just not how it works there in the end. But the Cowboys have the ability to make a run. It's a matter of will they make that run. From Gary, Hurts or Prescott? I mean, this is the Cowboys report. I'm sure Jeremy and I disagree. And I'll preface by saying I've been very impressed by Jalen Hurts. And if you're doing MVP conversation, it's obviously Hurts because he didn't miss a bunch of games this season. But I'm still going to take Dak if I were building a franchise right now because I've seen him do it much more consistently over the years. Do I think Eagles fans think they have their franchise guy? Yeah, I think they should feel pretty decently right now. But I'm still going to take Dak at this point. From Mayo Heo, it's a fun name. If OBJ signs before the Texans game, does he play? It's a good question. I don't know. It'd be a pretty tough turnaround. I would say probably not. But you can make him active and give him like 10 snaps, like garbage time, say, like, I think you probably give him a week or two to get up to speed a little bit overall, which is like what you're going to do. But a route tree is a route tree. There's some option route stuff that I know Mike hates that Kelvin likes that might be a bit of an issue, but give him some time, and you do want some reps in the direction to help you come playoff time. From Sam's Playoffs, is this a trap game versus the Texans? I don't think so. Now, it could be and maybe this kind of falls in trap game territory, we didn't take it seriously game, and oopsie, your trap game is next week. Jacksonville, who's not as bad as the Texans, or I think even Colts are as bad as Jags this year, despite some issues. Then you play the Eagles after that. Jags are your trap game. Houston is just show up and do your job and you win by 15. They are, by the way, 17-point favorites, says the early spread. The Cowboys, I might just take the 17, which is a massive spread. So predict the score for me of the Cowboys versus the Texans. Let me know in the comments right now. From Stephen Glenn, the Cowboys went for the corner from A&M in the first round. So I assume you mean Jalen Jones, not the safety Antonio Johnson, who I like. Jalen Jones has had a really good year for for A&M. I would have no interest there, depending on how he tests at the combine. I think it turns pro. I think it's a good name to monitor. Jared Warwick, Nashawn Wright at corner instead of Kelvin Joseph. If Joseph struggles, maybe give Wright a shot, but Wright was awful in the preseason. I would not have the desire to start Wright over Joseph to begin. If Joseph struggles, give him a chance, but Kelvin gets the first crack, I think. Ruben, decent players in the draft that interest you. Well, that's a long list, my friend. I'll kind of answer it differently here. I mean, can I get Joey Porter Jr.? Can I get a Christian Gonzalez, one of those talented corners? They're not going to be the teens, Jeremy. You and I both know that. I wouldn't hate Bijan endish of round one, just from a talent impact perspective. Him and Pollard would be the best back duo in the NFL. I wouldn't mind looking at offensive linemen. It's not a great guard class. Not sure you want to go round one there. John Michael Schmitz has played well for Minnesota at center. You want to consider that. I love an impact 3 technique. I think it's probably a little bit early for Gervon Dexter, who's got the upside there. I'm looking corner, trench play, and maybe running back if Bijan's there at the end of round one. But that list will change, and we will go more in depth later on after the year ends because we got playoffs to talk about and regular season stuff. So if you want those questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open at WhatGoingDowney. No $8 payment charge for me. Hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney.